There are soldiers standing on our border, sacrificing their life. War happens on the border. War happens on the border because our brave soldiers have never let anybody come here. Being a soldier does not mean he wants to die. There is a man out there who is willing to widow his own wife.
कैप्टन अंशुमन सिंह ऑपरेशन मेघदूत के अंतर्गत सियाचिन ग्लेशियर में चिकित्सा अधिकारी के रूप में तैनात थे। आपने 19 जुलाई 2023 को वहां स्थित चंदन ड्रॉपिंग जोन में हुई भीषण अग्नि दुर्घटना के दौरान नजदीक की फाइबर ग्लास हट में फंसे लोगों को सुरक्षित बाहर निकालने में मदद की। इसी दौरान मेडिकल इन्वेस्टिगेशन शेल्टर को आग की चपेट में आता देख वो अपने प्राणों की परवाह न करते हुए उसमें कूद पड़े ताकि जीवन रक्षक दवाइयों और उपकरणों को बचाया जा सके।
On 18th July, we had a long conversation about how our life is going to be the next 50 years. He's going to build a house, we're going to have kids and whatnot. 19th morning, I get up, I get a call. He's no more.
You are so close to the armed forces of our country. I wanted to ask you, can you please tell our youth, what does it mean to be a soldier?
Well, I have nothing against whatever you're doing with your lives, but I want you to understand, you went to the cinema and sat for 2.5 hours because there are soldiers standing there and protecting our nation. There are many people who think they are spiritual because they can close their eyes and sit. You can close your eyes and sit because there are soldiers standing on our border sacrificing their life. Your children are going to school because there is some child out there who is willing to be orphaned. There is some father out there who is willing to orphan his own children. That is why your children are going to school. Your wife is all nicely dressed up and walking around, we're glad. But you must understand that's happening only because there is a man out there who is willing to widow his own wife. This is not a small thing.
We give condolence to Anshuman Singh family and other soldier parents who sent their child for our nation. Anshuman Singh is a medical officer in an Indian army who died saving lives during a fire at a camp in Siachen. The Indian Army is the land-based branch and largest component of the Indian Armed Forces. The President of India is the Supreme Commander of the Indian Army and its professional head is the Chief of Army Staff. The Indian Army was established on 1st April 1895 alongside the long-established presidency armies of the East India Company, which too were absorbed into it 1903. The primary mission of the Indian Army is to ensure national security and national unity, to defend the nation from the external aggression and internal threats and to maintain peace and security within its border.
I want you to understand this, that anything that we are doing in our life today is possible only because somebody is defending this land all the time with their lives. And I also want you to understand that being a soldier does not mean he wants to die, but he is willing to die. It's a very big difference. Somebody wants to die, that is a different matter. That's a matter of frustration, disappointment, something else. Somebody wants to live, but he is willing to die for something that matters to everybody. That is a different affair altogether. We have this problem, we think war happens on the border. War happens on the border because our brave soldiers have never let anybody come here. Otherwise, war would happen here in your town. In the past it's happened, isn't it? When the invaders came, they came deep inside and ravaged the place. Today, in the last 75 years, whatever wars happened only happened on the border because they are defending this country with their life. No matter what, they're not letting anybody come into the nation. So you must understand, wars don't happen on the border. The idea of war is to enter the nation, but somebody is stopping at the border. We must owe everything that we do in our lives, whether it's business, spirituality, cinema, studies, whatever you're doing, it's only because those men are standing there and willing to die for this nation.
The army's primary objective was to defend the nation's frontiers. However, over the years, it has also taken on the responsibility of providing internal security, particularly against insurgencies in Kashmir and northeast India. Currently, the army is enhancing its special forces capabilities with India's increasing international role and the need to protect its interests in distant countries. The Indian Army and the Indian Navy are jointly planning to set up a marine brigade. We all know it's the toughest job anyone can choose. Soldiers live far from their families and friends, often surviving on the minimal food. Because of them, we are alive. About 1600 soldiers are killed every year in India, and thanks to their sacrifice, 1.41 billion people live peacefully.